Thanks for staying with us. So our hot topic today is about a trending video of a certain Nigerian mob allegedly beating a suspected homosexual guy. This particular video created quite a bit of backlash online. While some are in support, others are condemning it. So the issue here from the video is that he was being mobbed because he was a homosexual. However, ladies of your view, we're going to be discussing the issues of jungle justice, because this video that we're going to probably show you is just a reference, or the video that was trending online is just a reference point to how we see jungle justice in this part of the world. I was going online to find out what jungle justice is, and they're saying that it's extrajudicial killing that happens in Nigeria and Cameroon. I'm thinking, these are the only two countries in the world that does jungle justice. I don't know why Nigeria and Cameroon featured in the definition of jungle justice. So, but either way, there are quite a few persons that experienced jungle justice. Thieves have experienced jungle justice. Homosexuals in Nigeria have experienced jungle justice. Even women, maybe a woman that is cheating or her husband found cheating, they've experienced jungle justice sometimes. But what are your thoughts? How we know jungle justice is bad, but the conversation is the rationale. Can jungle justice be justified? That's really the question, because when we look at it vis-a-vis our culture, our tradition, who we are as a people, can jungle justice be the rationale people use for jungle justice does it still hold water today? Especially when you talk about things that are illegal, like homosexuality in Nigeria. That's the conversation. You can call us on 081 0764 1679, 0902 4163 You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So, the video that we saw, I'm not sure if the producers can show it, but some are arguing that it was a skit, others are saying it was a movie scene, others are saying that it's not real, others are saying it could be real. Either way, the conversation really is about jungle justice and how we think as a people, how we see things we feel like it's forbidden. This thing, you cannot do this. Or maybe a father having sexual relations with his child. That is is a taboo in our country. Now, does that justify jungle justice for the father who has defiled his child? These are conversations that I think is something we could talk about. Tope, you want to start?
Essentially, jungle justice is a way of public shaming and humiliation so that we can stop something from going on. That's what it should be historically, you know. People tend to want, if justice is taking place in private, you probably will not know that there was justice or there was this huge punishment meted out. So if it is done in the public with everybody, you feel like, oh, this will happen again. People will not try it anymore because we did it very public. However, the fact that there is no form of government involvement or any form of law enforcement or any form of process to verify if the accusation that is bringing about the jungle justice is real, that for me is the real problem. So we have many people that would be mobbed or attacked on accusations that have not been verified. Somebody will shout, ole, ole, ole. And the person that is running, who probably did not even know why they were shouting, might get attacked. People would lie about something and there is no proof, but the emotional sentiment of everybody in the environment might lead to them being murdered. So jungle justice, we all would say it is not right. Yes. All of us will say it is not right. And I think it has thrived in Nigeria because we don't trust that if we take it to court or take it to the police, anything would happen. So we feel this is the only way we can get justice. The best way for us to be sure that this person is getting punished is for us to oversee the punishment by ourselves right now. And challenges, we've had some cases where innocent people die, like the case of Alufo. So I don't know what we can do as people on this show, but I'm sure that the government can do more in terms of prosecuting people that are involved in jungle justice to ensure that we don't see it going on more and more.
Okay. You know, jungle justice is entirely based on the emotions of, you know, any kind of injustice you might, except for the ones that are just, you know, framed on any innocent person. Sometimes witnessing the abuse of a child or an incest can well up that level of emotion that you'll be like, no police will be able to handle it. I will handle it myself. And if we do not take care of that emotion when it starts, if we don't check it, We'll have a lawless jungle. That's why it's called jungle justice, where everybody self-helps themselves to their justice and whatever they define it as. You would see some women beat up the maid that is living with them because they assumed that the maid drank the milk of their babies. And the beating will not even be proportional. That's why the law says, you know, every action, proportional or proportionate crime and consequence to it will be decided legally and legislated on. People don't understand it, and we don't work on the mindset. You don't see people, you don't see government or the agency, the National Heritage Agency, which is the national one, go around areas, markets, sensitizing people, saying, this thing, no matter how you feel per time, there will be some form of injustice that will be done. We have a saying that person who they lay for glass house, no they throw stone. You know, our people will say, don't throw stone in the market because you don't know where a person is shopping. You don't always know. You always assume an accident has happened, let's burn down the vehicle. When you finish burning down the vehicle, does it bring back, you know, does it take away the medical costs? All of those sensitization are things that people must be educated on. I have witnessed at least a few jungle justice. I pray never to witness them, not even to be a recipient of them. Just to witness them was traumatizing enough. Because I kept thinking, for years on, I will sit down, I will remember that instance, I'll be like, what if? That what if is traumatizing. It never leaves you. You assume that, okay, this Okada rider that fell down has been injured, and you people mob and burnt a car, mob somebody, beat up a person, whereas the Okada rider is sitting down thinking, that was not my plan, it's just to collect small money. I gave the instance of how we ended up at Agboju police station of my own husband's former manager at the time, who was driving and somebody had jumped in and I had his eyes in his hand. Whereas he had a damaged eyeball and they put synthetic one in his eye, and he has been using it to frame every driver he sees in a nice car. And that guy was driving a white sports car, this one I look like Yahoo, but let me quickly frame it. He held his eyes in his hand, and the mob that were going to beat up our person, they did not ask, why are you not bleeding? Nobody looked at him and said, why are you not bleeding? He jammed me, I jump out, and that's all the multitude of people were saying. I don't know how that guy was able to get help to get to the filling station at Abule Ado. A military officer, he ran to hold. That one just thought, okay, wait, everybody, police station, And I got to the police station. And until I got there, nobody had asked the question, why are you not bleeding? It took me 4 hours to get there.
Let me come to Mariam, your thoughts on this before I,
Yes, I mean, for me, I feel completely there's no justification, no rationale that works or supports jungle justice. I don't even think you get any form of justice, even as a person who may have been, may have been a victim of something. I don't even think that jungle justice is even the best way that you get any form of justice. And there are just too many incidences where, after proper investigation, it has shown that these are people just trying to take advantage of a crowd, of emotions. You hardly know the person, or you know this person and you're trying to dodge maybe some responsibility. You owe somebody, the person has come to ask for their right, and then you call a mob on them. So too many times people have done things, have used mob action to cover up for their own bad behavior, and have made victims of those who were not even meant to be in this situation. The video, even though we're not sure whether it's real or a skit, I think it's also good that it highlights for people, you have to sometimes watch it to realize that there's no good that comes from it. I would never forget the Alufo. Never. I wasn't there. I saw a clip, and forever I will never forget that sight that I saw. And then to compound it, to find that these boys were innocent, forever I feel guilty. I felt like I was part of those who were just standing watching, so there's nothing good that comes out of it. If we were to, for the times where people who have committed heinous crimes have gone through the courts, they've been asked questions, we investigated, not only are you able to find out who this, in the course of investigation, why they did it, you're able to find out other things if there's a ring involved. So the justice is even more robust. More people even get more justice because you've done proper investigations, and that's what I'll push for. So I know that a lot of us also say, well, the justice system is either too slow or it's so much compromised. I'd rather that compromise slow justice and an innocent person is not killed in a mob. For me, it's better than one innocent person should lose their lives.
So in the question I asked earlier, is there anything like justified jungle justice? Now let's go back to the various scenarios I painted. A father defiling his 5-year-old. Neighbors find out, carry the man, beat him up, they're about to kill him. He's about to be hanged. That's one. In this situation, in the video we're looking at, a possible homosexual. Now, because you say homosexuality is illegal in Nigeria. So somebody finds somebody, oh, that boy was a homosexual. They gather him and try to mob him. Now, in the African setting, the way we're looking at it through the lens of who we are as a people, what would you say to that? How would you see that? Because it goes back to how we were raised, how we see things. How do we correct, or does it need to be corrected when we see things like that in that situation?
There's no fair. You know, I was trying to answer that question when I said it's based on the emotions that you assume your system is the fairest. Everybody will look at it from their pain. And because you gave the example of a father who had just, I gave that answer earlier. But there's no fair way, and we bring it home. You know, in the house, when you come in and you assume one child has the excesses of liking maybe sugar, or one likes meat too much, and then something had gone missing, maybe the sugar had... And you punish before the conversation. You just assume that, we'll talk about you too, anyway, you have a street tooth. This is you that leaked the sugar. Now, you have not even beaten her. You have just, accused her, whether fairly or unfairly. And it turns out, Chokwe wasn't even in the sugar mood. It was the non-sugar, Mariam who does not like sugar, that decided today, I want to drink gari and sugar and granuts. And when she decided to do it, because she has never been doing it, she turned out the entire bottle, no measurement. And you as a mom, you are just... You have slapped Tokwe already. You have already accused Anikoto slap. Some people will not, let's take it further. Some people will just assume, today, Tokwe, you are lying.
Yes.
You know, you have been talking to you about this thing. I do it deliberately because I am one who uses the cane. My husband thinks, for you, why are you hesitating about this? I do it deliberately because I have seen the unfairness in the eyes of my children when I do it. Now, when I come in and I say, this thing has happened, you tell me, which one of you is not lying? You take your time to investigate further because you don't want to accuse one child and then it's the other child.
Okay. Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.